Hello, and welcome back all aboard to your Purple Pants podcast, Royal Caribbean 9 month Ultimate World Cruise Breakdown Central. I am excited to be joined by my good girlfriend. She's a contributor for Inside Survivor, Silent Podcast, and RHAP. My good girl, Gia. Welcome back.
Thank you. I am always happy to be back to be talking about this very important news coverage. But Bryce, I didn't know it was going to be so soon. It's been like a week. We were talking about maybe like a month, 2 months from when we
Gia.
last recorded. I don't even know if we got to the week between when we recorded and
Gia.
then and when we are recording this now.
It is crazy, right? First of all, shout out to everyone that listened and watched. I didn't think, as many people will be interested in our coverage, but again, we see the tweets, the DMs, the messages. Okay, shout out to our girl Jessica. She said Rob need to get us on that ship. And Jessica,
Yes.
I ain't even opposed to it. What also is so crazy, Gia, is that I want to say maybe like a year ago, a cruise line reached out to me and were like, "Hey, we'd love to partner with you," and blah blah blah. And I was like, "Nah, I don't think that that's like, I don't know if that's." So ultimately, I was like, maybe sometime in the future. Had I known, the Purple Pants podcast cruise would have been going on. So let's just kick everyone off of what is going on. Now, mind you, Gia is right. We did this coverage of the Ultimate World Cruise last week just to kind of give you guys what's going on TikTok. Gia and I had so much fun doing it. And we said, listen, when more stuff comes up, we will gladly come back and report. As Gia just mentioned, I did not think we would be back in less than a week reporting on more TikTok World Caribbean World Cruise news. If you are new here, welcome. Let's just get into some of the particulars, right? So we are covering the Ultimate World Cruise. Royal Caribbean is going to 7 countries, 11 continents, or no, is it 7 continents, 11 countries? Hold on, I can't even see it. Seven
7 continents,
continents,
11 world
world
wonders.
wonders, 60 plus
60 plus.
countries. Yes.
Yes.
So, and people are on here for 9 months. We talked last week about how the tickets weren't selling. So Royal Caribbean started offering these different packages where if you can't stay for the whole 9 months, you can buy different legs. And so some of the people were realizing it's cheaper to go that way. So then we talked about the Pinnacle members, how the Pinnacle members, if you have like over 370 days, you are considered a Pinnacle member, just like how hotels have different tier levels and how there are people feeling like the Pinnacle members were being treated better than the other people. So there's this whole classism thing that we were talking about. So if you haven't checked that out, go back, watch that last week video, or go back and listen to last week's podcast. Now, baby, the internet, literally after our podcast came out, the TikTok started delivering us tea. So let's just kind of go in chronological order. So we're going to be having a new cast member join TikTok. There is this TikTok YouTube personality, person named Christian Hall. He's been covering the world cruise on TikTok like a lot of us. He is hilarious. He's funny. If you are not following his TikTok, he's definitely one of the cruise TikTokers you need to be following. He's just hilarious. He's funny. When Mark Sebastian joined, Christian was so excited. And then he announced to us last week that he actually is going to be doing a leg of the tour. He got his room number and he's going to be all in the mix. So we have a new cast member going to be joining the TikTok cruise coverage. So we're excited about that. Your thoughts on Christian Hall joining Gia? Have you seen any of his TikToks, or what do you know about him?
I haven't actually. So this is my first introduction to him. So I'm very excited to get to see more of him in the cruise format. I didn't really know anything about Mark before the Ultimate World Cruise either, but I'm excited to get back into it and meet some more content creators this way.
Yes, I love it. Christian, he's similar to Mark, right? I think Mark has a little bit more of that dry humor. Mark's a little bit more snappy. Like, that's what we love about Mark. Mark was like, I'm gonna get all the drama. Christian, in my opinion, is a little more lighthearted. He's a little more fun. And he's tapped into the coverage that we want. So I'm really excited for him to join. And it seems like a lot of the audience that is watching online is really excited for him. So one update down. Okay, we got a new cast member joining, and when he joins, we will absolutely cover it and talk about it. Now, another topic that is hitting this cruise is kids on the cruise. It is being reported by several members on. So, also, let's break it down how some of these TikTokers are getting the tea, right? There are content creators that are on the cruise. There are some people that went on the cruise and was like, hey, I can become a content creator as well. And so we have some real travel content creators. We have some people that are on the cruise and have joined in on the fun. Some of them we like, some of them, we will get to at the later this podcast.
Mhm.
And
We
then there
will.
are, about 700 people on this cruise. And so the people that are on the cruise, they are watching the coverage. And some of them are watching some of the people at home, like us, talking about it. And they are getting in them comments, or they are emailing, or they are sending these creators some tea. So that's how we are getting a lot of this information or off of the cruise. Now, as opposed to kids, anyone that's going on a cruise, I think that the target audience for cruises, in my opinion, are people that are retired. I would say 60 plus. And I also think about families. I think that that's kind of like, parents bringing their children on cruise. That's really kind of like the target audience that I think of when I think of cruise. Would you agree, Gia?
Yeah, I would probably say that. I don't really think about kids on cruises like the Carnival and Royal Caribbean cruises as much, although obviously like they have these giant water parks and everything as well. But I think of them more for like the
The
Disney
Disney.
cruises. Like those are the ones that I feel like are geared towards like children and Disney adults more so than the regular ones. But it does make sense. I've just never really thought of the world cruise since it's such a long stretch, even if you are just booking a leg of it. And like as something where you'd even have to be concerned about kids, honestly.
Right. And so that is the take of a lot of people. There was someone that reached out to the TikToker UK Secret Travel or something like that. She is one of my main people that I get my tea from.
Yes.
And this lady essentially like responded to one of her videos and basically says she has 3 kids. Her kids are, I want to say, of the ages of like 5, 9, and like 11. And so she said, kids are kids. They're going to run down the hallway. They're going to, like, you do a lot of things. But she says she's one of these mothers that if my kids act up, I'm gonna get them together right then and there. Like, hey, stop what you doing. Get it together. Like my mom would. But she has been detailing some of her experience. Some of her experience is that when getting on elevators, she'll notice that people will press the button real quick and close the door because they don't want to be dealt with kids. There have been situations where people will be walking past the hallway, rolling their eyes and making slide comments like, ugh, kids, like just nasty comments, making her feel uncomfortable. There was an incident where I want to say when they were on the Antarctic leg, they had drained the outside pool, so the pool could not be used outside. However, I've been on a Royal Caribbean cruise, and there is an adult only area called the solarium, where it's like indoor, smaller pool, jacuzzi. They had announced that because the pool was drained, they will maybe from like 1 to 4 kids will be able to use the solarium. She said she arrived with her kids. The solarium was full. When her and her kids arrived, the solarium cleared out. They didn't want to be bothered with the kids. There was this one guy that was in the jacuzzi that he didn't leave. He stayed in the jacuzzi, she said. She said he didn't bother her or the kids, but he just stayed in the jacuzzi and kind of sort of like made it seem as if like this jacuzzi area is mine. And so it was a little weird, but I mean, I also say, hey, if they open the solarium up to kids and I'm there, I'm not going to leave because the kids are there. Like, I'm still enjoy it. But she essentially said that everyone cleared out. So it worked to her benefit. But she said like the way they cleared out was more like, ugh, we don't want to be bothered by the kids. Now, she detailed this one story, Gia, where they were walking to an elevator and her kids they were walking to the elevator. The kids ran ahead. They saw the elevator was coming. One of her kids went to go get on the elevator, and an older male passenger grabbed her child by the like arm, shoulder, and pulled the child back because there was, I guess, another elderly person getting on the elevator. First of all,
Yeah. Say it.
if I'm that child's mother, I don't. First of all, don't touch my child. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh. Whoo! Gia,
I
let
know. So I gotta say, I am a person that likes to plan their vacations around the fact that I don't have kids, right? Like, I am not somebody that wants to have to factor in kids to my vacation. However, the comma is important there. The fact that people will go on a venue like a cruise, and there are 18 plus 21 plus cruises, mind you, that does not, like, there
go
are
to
venues
version. Mhm.
yeah, there are I know it's not the ultimate world cruise, but there are excursions, there are lines that will specifically book just for adults if you're that bothered by kids. And kids can be very annoying.
Right.
However, if kids aren't bothering me, it is also their space to also have fun. But I would never, ever put my hands on someone else's kid unless they were trying to like grab me. You know, kids can be like very grabby and stuff like that sometimes. But like, even just like a little nudge can kind of like get the message across in there. It's just like there is such this divide recently, and I definitely see where this mom is coming from that is giving some excerpts of her experience on there. That one, I don't want my experience to, like, I'm not changing up my experience because there might be kids around in the area. I 100% agree with you on that, but I feel like it has gone from just like, I have decided I don't want kids on my vacation to being like, I am going to make you feel bad that
Right.
you brought kids on your vacation. It's just like this level of entitlement.
Mm,
And I see it a lot with people with kids that they feel like their kids kind of have like free range of the area. Not all parents, but
but some.
there's always some. But the opposite is also true. And I feel like we don't really discuss that enough as like a culture, like a vacation culture and stuff. You're on a cruise with a big water park, like they have these areas catered for kids. And yeah, if you have to give up your adults only space for 3 hours, is it on a 9 month cruise? Is it really the end of the world? Like, is it that big of an inconvenience for you that you can't on this, like, how many floors are on this cruise, on this ship right now that you can't
12.
find? Yeah, 12 of like another space. There's no other spaces on the cruise that you can't go to find somewhere kid free. It just feels like there's always these two extremes of we should only cater to people with kids and we should make people with kids feel terrible for even bringing them into the space. I just feel like there are ways for us to vacation in a more harmonious environment, if you will.
Right.
Um, and it's sad that like they're letting something like that ruin their time. Like, I'm not letting a kid ruin my vacation. So, but I think some people just like to complain. I mean, like, let's say, let's call it what it is. Like, some people just need to find something or someone to complain about.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, again, would I, sometimes I do factor in when I go on vacation. It's like, will there be a lot of kids there?
Yeah.
That's a part of it, right? But also it's like I have siblings that have children, I
Mhm.
have nieces, nephews, I have godchildren, I have friends with children. Like, yeah, I get it. There are some spaces and places you don't really want kids there. However, if somebody has kids, in no way, shape, or form, I'm gonna make them feel bad about themselves. Now,
Yeah.
if they kids is gremlins and they running around like then that's another thing where it's like, sis, get your kids. However, this is a cruise, and if this family can afford to bring their kids and pay for their kids. And this, it's their experience too. I also feel like it also could be said that like maybe people around our age, like with the elderly people, like maybe they in the way in the hallway. Like, you don't see if there were a report that someone our age grabs an elderly person
Oh,
and push, like, you know
absolutely.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
have that same grace. So for me, let one of those people have touched my nephew, my niece, my god, like I would have went crazy. This mom seemed to have a lot of grace with all of that negativeness that she talked about. She said there are just as many positive people that miss their kids, miss their grandkids, that engage with their children, are very friendly with their children. And so she said it's not all bad, but she has said that some of the looks, some of the comments that they hear when they enter a space and people leave, it has been jarring. But that
Mhm.
old person that put their hand on that other child, baby.
She's better than my parents because they would have gotten thrown overboard. I swear to God. Like, not no hesitation.
My mom would have Barb would have went crazy because one thing about my mom might be a little crazy. Also, my mom is a black mother. Not to say anything, but I'm just saying that's just my experience. My mom is a black mother. She don't play, right? My mom is in her 70s right now, and she still don't play about me. So yeah, I don't like that. But again,
Mm-mm.
those reports have been coming out. So of course, we had to bring the tea to you guys. Now, also, Babe, baby, it has
Oh my
been
God.
reported that there has been a brawl on the ship. Okay. Ladies fight. There was a four-person brawl. Again, we got this story. UK Secrets broke this, that somebody had messaged her and said that there was a fight on the ship. We were unable to substantiate it, baby. Then one of our good sisters on the ship made a video and said, in fact, a fight did happen. There were four women. It happened to be 3 against 1. Before it got broken up, the women were going at it. And then we learned that after the fight was broken up, the 3 women that were engaging in this fight against this one lady, they realized that they were fighting the wrong person.
Can you imagine ruining your vacation and causing a scene on a cruise ship, mind you? Like, being that I don't e God knows where this came from, but, like, being so in your own business that you are jumping someone on a cruise and you don't even take the time to verify that it is the correct person that you are jumping. You're like, you're ruining your time, you're ruining that person's time. God knows the woman that they were actually trying to jump there, like, what was going on with her at that moment, but my God, it feels like something straight out of a sitcom at that point. What do you mean you jumped the wrong person? There's 3 of you. 3 of
Now,
you,
my,
and you
now, now, mind you, Gia, outside of the cruise, if I just woke up and see my friend fight, like, first of all, we throwing them bulls, but that's younger Bryce. But yeah, like, how was it 3 of y'all fighting one person, and then all of a sudden it's like, oops, my bad.
yeah.
I also feel like that one person, that lady must have had hands. Because if it's taking 3 of y'all on a cruise ship to come against me, we need to know that lady, because seemed like she was handling her business.
Yes. This woman stood on business.
Okay,
Even not even her own business, other women's business too.
she
Um,
stood on business.
have you found any updates on the brawl in particular? Because I've been trying to find throughout the internet, like, the aftermath of this, if there's like any statement put out from security, if the women that were jumping the other woman, I assume they are being asked to leave or have some type of
Penalty,
like
yeah.
breach of agreement with when you go on the cruise, but I haven't heard any follow up on this whatsoever.
Neither have I. And I've been looking for that. The only real follow up we got was it was being reported. The news kind of broke the TikTok internet. And then one of the cruise members, not Sophie, but someone else, they did actually make a video to basically say, like, I'm on the cruise. I saw it. The fight did happen. And then she was the one that gave us the tea that it was 3 against 1. And then after the fight broke up, that they were aware that they were fighting the wrong person.
Mm.
Everybody should not be getting them unlimited drink packages. That's all I'm gonna say. All right. So that's another thing. And then baby, then now this story is alleged. Okay. So no one has come forth. No one on the cruise ship has come forth and confirmed these allegations, but allegedly on the cruise ship, how do I say? Let's say the workers on the cruise are allegedly having their own sort of after hours party. And it's giving at the after hours party. The pineapples are not right side up. The pineapples are turned upside down. And so essentially they are having adult parties. Okay. They having adult parties. The cruise ship, it's being reported that through multiple people have been reaching out to some of the TikTok people that are covering it, basically saying after hours, the cruise staff in, how do I say, the Will Smith terminology, not getting jiggy with it. Okay. Now, I mean, what?
Can I just say, of all of the rumors we have heard in our current Ultimate World Cruise news outlets, right? I hope this one is true. I hope it's true.
Baby.
This is the one I want to be true, because I want to believe that these poor crew members who have dealt with so much have at least some outlets, multiple outlets for themselves. I need it in my soul to know that they are also having fun for themselves. And if a crew member wants to slide in my DMs just to give like a little nod emoji or something to just like let me know that they are having the time of their lives, please do. I really hope that this is a true piece of information here. I don't know how you even get that information.
Right.
Like, I be minding my business on like vacations like that. I don't know anybody well enough to be like asking that. I don't think I'd be asking.
I mind my business, but I keep my ear to the street.
Right. Yes. But I do hope that this news is true. I don't need it ever confirmed. I just am happy that it exists, and I hope that it is correct.
Okay. Me too. Have fun. As long as it's consensual and nobody get hurt. Listen, and if any cruise member want to slide in my DM,
use protection and have fun.
Listen, okay, and want to drop me the location. I will happy to supervise it. If you need, I will.
You need
supervise.
A chaperone.
Okay,
we're here.
We are here. All right. So now we got that out. Now let's get into some of the boiling hot tea. Now we're going to give this to you in stages, so it all makes sense. Our king, Mark Sebastian, that took this whole 9-month cruise to a new level. He was an influencer on TikTok. We covered him last week, where he essentially was covering this just like us and was like, hey, if anybody want to sponsor me to go on there, I'll go on there and get you all the tea. Atrium Books sponsored him to go on. He went on for the Antarctica cruise, or the Antarctica leg of the cruise. And, Mark stirred it up. Mark got a lot of national attention, so much national attention that Mark made The View. He did let us know that the Ultimate World Cruise, their ship's name is the Serenade of the Sea, and Whoopi Goldberg happens to be the godmother of the cruise. Every cruise ship has like a godmother or a godfather, and Whoopi Goldberg happens to be the person that is the godmother of the ship. Mark did a video of it. And so Whoopi and them started talking about the cruise on The View, and everyone was like loving Mark and just all of this. So it was like really great press for the cruise. Now it's important to remember this view with Mark and Whoopi. Your thoughts on the View covering the cruise ship and Mark making the View and all of this good stuff.
I thought it was so funny because really all I've heard from this cruise has been through TikTok. So to have it on like a television news platform like The View or a talk show like The View was very funny to me. It's just like, oh, finally, like like journalism has reached like the masses. I am very excited for this. But the fact that the Serenade of the Seas godmother is Whoopi Goldberg, and so Whoopi took it upon herself to make this part of the news coverage for The View during this week. Made me so happy. I think Whoopi is like, I don't know how they come to the conclusion, how they pick like the godmother of these ships. But I think Whoopi Goldberg's a fantastic pick for
Absolutely.
anyone see Claim to Fame. Like this just
I
makes
see
sense to me.
Ghost. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
She's an
Like
EGOT.
it just makes sense to me, and she seems like the right type of she has the right sense of humor for something like this, and I'm very happy to see this reach a larger audience.
Yes. So let's keep this in mind. So Mark's time on the cruise has departed. He has left. It's been sad. And so remember this View with Whoopi and Mark. Okay. So we will go on to the even more tea. Now we talked about Anthony Antone. He's a black man on the ship. Anthony, and a lot of his video coverage, he explained to us how early on the ship he purchased it. He then, during New Year's Eve, they were in South America. He had family in South America. He wanted to get off the ship to see, like, it caused this whole debacle. Then people were questioning if he was really on the ship, all of this stuff. But we love Anthony. He's amazing. And yeah, so Anthony really started kicking things off later in the week. On Thursday, he posted this video and essentially was saying, y'all want the drama? Let me give y'all the drama. And so he posts this video that essentially he is putting to rest some rumors that were made about him. And then also he alleges in this video, like, I think one of his main lines in this video that he did on TikTok was saying, people who, first of all, he said everybody should not have the drink package. And he said, who people are at 10 a.m. are not who they are at 10 p.m. So
Mhm.
we're going to table that statement and get into some of the rumors that were made about Anthony. So Anthony said, again, we talked about how people were in the comments and essentially saying, like, how is he affording this, right? I don't hear those comments on the videos of the mother and the family with 4 kids. Like, we're not getting how are they afford, like, and they happen to be white. And so again, that just kind of off tasted a lot of us. And so Anthony said that he was retired, and that, he's living his best life. So then there was a rumor, and I don't know why, and maybe you guys can help me understand, but I guess there was a rumor that he retired from the military. I don't know how, like, and so then he goes on in this video and says, like, I've worked in the public health field. The last job that I had was at 7 years at a university. Prior to that, I worked 10 years in the public health sector, and I've done my time. I've retired, and now I'm just living my best life. So that was one of the rumors. I'm just confused as to, like, I don't get the negative connotation of him retiring from the military. Like, so that was like one rumor that he just decided to clear up. Your thoughts on that, Gia?
I just find this is like a recurring thing with Anthony, more not so much Anthony himself, but people who are commenting on Anthony's content, which after our first news recap, I followed Anthony so I get a better idea of like who he was as a content creator, and I really like his videos. I really like his news and everything like that, but it's just so odd to me, and not in like, why would this be like the reason, like we know the reason, but that people are so wrapped up, not in anything Anthony does content wise,
Hmm.
or any actions that could be like deemed questionable, which I have not found anything in the videos I've seen of his so far to indicate anything like that. But the fact that people are so caught up in, for him specifically, about like, how can he afford this? What, you know, is he, they're questioning his sobriety for whether or not he has the drink packet, if he was giving up drinking or something like that, and if he broke his sobriety on the ship. Um, did he actually have family in South America? Is he even on the cruise itself? It's just a lot of uh very odd questions that I didn't even think needed to be validated, or like I don't think he has a reason to actually validate those, but the fact that he responded so quickly to confirm that like he is telling the truth, it just feels like such a disheartening thing to be watching, that like instead of him getting the opportunity to create content the same way, the same freedom that a lot of these other Ultimate World Cruise content creators are making, that he has to spend his time and energy like basically explaining his life, explaining
Hmm.
his jobs, explaining how he was even able to get here in the first place, the fact that he was there in the first place. Like, you guys just like don't, the people are just waiting for him to slip up at this point, or to give something away that is going to like make him not a legitimate Ultimate World Cruise content creator. And it's just like, it's very frustrating to see, and that like that has to be how he spends his time as a Ultimate World Cruiser, like content creator in there. So very
Absolutely.
frustrating, but he's handling it with way more grace than I would ever. How do we know how old he is?
I
Because
wanna I wanna say, well, Anthony is a black man, and black don't crack. But I wanna say
that was what I was
Anthony,
about to say, because I'm
it
like, the only reason I would be like, well, how are you retired, is because if he
you
said
look
he
so
was like,
right.
if he says he was like 40, I know he's got little grays in his beard, but as we said, we all know science, it's scientifically proven black don't crack. And that this man does not look retirement age. That doesn't
Right.
mean that he isn't retired. Just that if he said he was in his like early 40s, something around that, I would believe that.
I wanna say Anthony's probably in his late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it makes sense. You can have a 20-year career in the public health field and get out. Why can't Anthony be from a wealthy family? Why can't Anthony
Mhm.
have made smart business investments? Like, why are we in Anthony's pockets is what I'm trying to figure out.
Yes.
Also, if you watch Anthony's TikTok, right? Like, he's on TikTok, but Anthony didn't go on TikTok with the intention of let me become a creator, right? Like, I think
Mhm.
it's something that kind of sort of happens. We've discovered him, we like him. The other rumor that Gia touched on was that at Mark Sebastian, first of all, Mark Sebastian ain't even on the cruise, and still his name is all up in this. Mark Sebastian had a going away party at the club on the Serenade of the Sea the last night. Mark tells us that, like, he doesn't really drink like that. He don't really go to the club like that. He's like, I got my own room. When I'm tired of being around a cruise ship, I can vacate to my own room. But however, him and Mark became good friends. He enjoyed Mark, and so he wanted to go show Mark some love. So he went up to the club. He said people were so surprised to see him up there. He shared a drink with Mark, and he said that two people, and they did it respectfully and lovingly, came up to him and was like, "Hey, we know this must be hard for you. And if you want to use us as a support, like, absolutely." Like, and Anthony was like, "What is y'all talking about?" And so one of them essentially told them that people have said on the ship that, like, Mark, or I keep saying Mark Anthony is, first of all, I keep saying Mark Anthony, like, okay, not the Latin singer, okay, no. But they keep saying that Anthony is sober, and that people were so shocked to see him at the nightclub and seeing him drink. They were essentially alluding that he broke his sobriety, and that, like, was kind of like, off the wagon and cutting up. And M- Anthony's like, "What are y'all talking about?" He's like, "I personally just don't like the taste of alcohol." He's like, "I will have a drink when I want to have a drink, but, like, it doesn't surround my life." So again, like, all of these rumors coming up about Anthony is weird. Now, that was the first half of Anthony's video. Then the second half of Anthony's video, he alluded to people are not who they are at 10 a.m., at 10 p.m., that everyone should not have the unlimited drink packages, and that people's negative thoughts and their views, he's always suspected, he has said multiple times that there are only a handful of Black people on the ship, and these people have been friendly, but the amount of passive aggressiveness and the things that they've had to deal with on this ship has been a lot. And after this one recent post, like, he's tired of it. And Anthony's like, I'm tired of this person being so negative. We can feel the energy, but yeah, I have to be cute. And after this last incident, like, now I'm gonna have to see you on excursions. Now I'm gonna have to see you in the hallways. And now you are going to make it even more uncomfortable for me. And again, as a gay man of color myself, that resonated so much with me, but I was so confused. I was like, what is Anthony talking about? So I had to
Mhm.
go do some digging. Now, let me introduce you guys to Christian and Liz. They are on the Royal Caribbean Ultimate World Cruise. They are a married couple. I want to say they live in Florida or someplace. A lot of their kids are grown. They don't really have any ties to where they were, so they decided to join this cruise. They give me, like, what's this? The Chris Chrisley, like, they
Yes,
give me those type of vibes, right? I have
they
seen
do.
Christian's videos before in my TikTok scroll, and they weren't just for me, right? Like, I did not like, I kind of scroll and see the people that I like. Jumped in on a couple of his lives of him talking about how he didn't have a lot of money when he was growing up. So now when he goes out to eat, he likes to order whatever he wants. Like, I don't know. I didn't really necessarily relate to his content. But I've seen his content, like, cool. So there's also something I want to explain to you guys, right? And so as we're talking about this TikTok coverage, right? It's kind of like high school. There are some people like that we've talked about. There are the Sophies, the dress lady Adida. There was Mark Sebastian. There's Anthony. There's Brandy and her sister. There are two other people like Amanda. There are some of the creators that we love that, like, that people are
Mhm.
flocking to, right? And then there are some people on this ship that see that and want to be like, act like the cool kids, right? The cool kids. For instance, Christian and Liz. It's been reported at Mark Sebastian's going away party, that they were at the club. I think uh, all of the content creators were like, we're not going to film this. We're not going to record this. Like, we're just going to, like, have a party and enjoy yourself. Here come Christian, set up his tripod and, like, kind of video it, right? Kind of like, kind of cloud chasing a little bit. And it was just really, really awkward. So, uh, we're talking about Christian and Liz because that Anthony video that Anthony was talking about, I guess that Anthony woke up and seen this live that Christian had done the night before. And mm, if you have not gone online to see a lot of the live, people screen recorded and they posted it, and then it gets taken down for hate speech. Now, the moment I saw it in the middle of the night, I immediately text Gia at 2 in the morning
Mhm.
and was like, girl, you need to watch this. And so it stems from Mark Sebastian being on The View and Whoopi acknowledging him and, all of this love. And so Christian went on a live. And if you are going to find the live, okay, the video going to look something like this. He was on live for 2 hours, essentially saying, who is Whoopi Goldberg? Uh, just just a lot. Like, talked about her hair, talked about how she's not talented. Then he goes on these tirades talking about people just love to complain and don't want to work hard, essentially saying marginalized people don't put in hard work and that they just love to talk about it and complain. And at first, I'm like, maybe he's not talking about race. But then he's like, I'm a white man. I've had trouble with. I've got stopped when I was 14 years old, and the police were
Mhm.
a holes. But I didn't. I didn't make it a whole bit. Like the way that he talks in this live, and clearly he is. People are in the comments are like, "How long have you been drinking?" He's like, "Well, how long do you consider drinking?" Like it just. He was just spewing hate. And you can see that he is jealous of the attention that Mark is getting, the fact that Mark is on. And again, it's like for me, I feel like, oh, is Mark another white man? You feel like you're a white man covering this as well? And why is Mark on the View and you're not on the View? And then he goes, oh, it's not a racial thing. Why I don't like Whoopi. I don't like Joy either. Like he just goes into this nasty, nasty,
Mhm.
nasty tirade. Mark Sebastian is not even on the cruise. People were tagging Mark in the live. Mark got on Christian's live, and this is how much of a clout chaser Christian is. Because if you can find the
Mhm.
video, he's like, "Oh, Mark's here. Hey, Mark, how are you?" And Mark is writing in the comments of the live, like, "Hey, buddy, I think it's time to end this live," right? Like trying to save him. He's like, "Oh, what? Are you about to go live? Oh, I'll end the live if you're going live, or if you're going to join it." Then people that like Christian or follow Christian and Liz, like I guess they like his wife too. And they're like, where is Liz at in all of this? Like, like she need to come out and, handle him, baby. She come out. She don't do nothing. She kind of fuels the fire. He talks about
Mhm.
Whoopi. She makes derogatory comments about Whoopi's hair. Just a whole hot mess. Gia, what were your thoughts when I sent you them videos? Like, what
I
was you
mean
thinking?
I mean, I wish I was surprised because realistically, when you have platforms like TikTok and you're on this once in a lifetime opportunity, not everybody that has a phone and a drink package is going to use it responsibly. Um, and exactly. Once I saw the bad lighting and then like, oh, I have an idea where this is going. It's just like, this is someone's drunken rant, isn't it? And it very much was. This is not anything new. These are like the same buzzword arguments that marginalized people, primarily black people, have been hearing for ages now. But now it's on a what is supposed to be a happy occasion, like this big vacation, and it's just people it's people showing their biases. It's people show, what Anthony said, who people are at 10 a.m. is not who they are at 10 p.m. And it's also I think it's a testament to people not understanding like changing times with like why, Mark Sebastian has a platform and he is, I think, a very talented content creator, as are a lot of our Ultimate World Cruise content creators are. And just because it's something that people can get started in does not mean everybody should be doing it. And unfortunately, if you are going to subject yourself to such a public platform like that, maybe think about what biases you have and keeping them in check at the very least. I would like to think that this could be a learning moment for them, but considering the reactions from him, reactions to from his wife, I am not optimistic about anything like that. I tried peeking his TikTok afterwards and it's last time I checked, it was still open. They were still posting videos, but just deleting any comments that would bring up the live or anything like that. Like it's being moderated at somehow. So I just don't see this as like any type of learning opportunity. I just think it's assholes showing what that they are assholes and they just happen to be assholes with some money.
1,000%.
Mhm.
The next day, he gets on, posts like nothing ever happened. We do know through other people that are there, they were trying to explain to him, like, hey, you got to make a statement. Like, this ain't going good. So they let the whole day go by. didn't say anything, just went on business as usual, which then even garnered more like, wow, like how tone deaf are you? Like, how are you going to ignore this? And then, baby, at the end of yesterday, we got a video.
Not
And
the angle, the same
the
angle,
same
same
angle.
gaslighting. Oh,
And so I've seen enough of Christian's videos that, like, again, they just not for me. Like, I just like his
mhm.
content, like, and I click on everything. Like even like the world, like Adidas, like the world dress lady. Like I like
Yes.
some of her content. I don't like all of her content, right? But like, Adidas is Adidas, right? And so I don't like all of Mark's content. But there are some things like, oh, I'll tune in. But he made this video, and this is how the non-apology goes. Hi. I know I've made some statements that have hurt some people, and I just want to say that's not who I am. That's not what I am about. Anyone that knows me knows that I am great. Because he also made some transphobic statements and some homophobic statements, and also I ain't even gonna get into that because if you've seen his videos,
Mhm.
okay, because
Yes.
I ain't even gonna get into that. Okay. So he made some transphobic statements in the video, his apology video. I have trans friends that work in the blah, 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 blah. Mind you, there is a trans creator on the boat. Not he talking about he has trans friends, and the one trans friend that he mentions is the person that he met on the boat less than a month. Like, anyway, this is not who I am. Like that's essentially what he's saying in this video. Like, if you can't log up the voice with what I'm saying, like really taking no accountability, really like in everything in this apology video is like, I'm being forced to do this. I have to do this. Like, sir, miss me with the apology because we already like again, sometimes I feel like some people, you could look at some people and be like, when I seen some of his lives and the things that he was talking about, I ain't judge him. I just, in the back of my mind, I'm like, wouldn't be surprised. And so when
Mhm.
all of this is coming out, it's like, not surprised. And it's like, essentially all of this is fueled by you're mad that you're not as popular as the other popular creators are on the thing. Like it's just like, again, there's that privilege that like, and
Mhm.
then you trying to diminish marginalized people talking about like, you just work hard, people don't know how to work, people don't like, no sir, like what we are not going to do is not say that like the privilege that you have is real. And it's like the fact that you're even speaking about this shows that you are out of touch. Like, whew,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah. And
crazy.
even what you're explaining with the apology, it's the same stuff we hear all the time from people that are not actually sorry for what they've done. They have friends in that community. Okay, well, that does not erase of all the terrible things that you have said about those communities. And also, like, I would strongly consider your friends reconsider their friendship with you if that is the case. And that's not who I am. Well, like I have done and said some pretty stupid shit when I have been drunk. I have not gone on any rants like that when I
And
have.
on live.
Yeah, exactly. I'm more of a giggler when I'm drunk. Like I just find everything very funny. Things like that can be like more of a hugger and stuff like that than what I would be in my normal life and everything. Um, no rant, no homophobic, transphobic rants on my end, which I know, and I've drank a lot before, a lot. So, just a lot of these non-apologies that we've gotten. This isn't anything new from people. This isn't anything that is unheard of. We know that people go on rants like this when they are drunk, and then you think because you aren't you did it when you were drunk, it absolves you of like how you are as a person afterwards. And it's unfortunate, but also I feel bad for the people that are on the cruise ship with him. And I think that him and his wife showed a lot of their true colors with these rants. And if they were truly sorry, I think they would be thinking of ways to actually make amends, as opposed to posting like nothing happened and then posting this non apology when people kept pressuring him to say something. So it's more like a little side plot at this point to the greater story of the cruise. It's just sad that it comes at the expense of like marginalized communities getting bashed on a unnecessary live.
Right. Crazy. And you wanted to be the star so much. You wanted, like, here you are. Here
You're
you
the
got,
star now.
right. You got you have the platform.
It's
Uh
giving Pearl in that I'm a star. That video that goes I'm a star. It's giving that.
so yeah, there you are, Christian. You have what you wanted. And again, Gia and I just want to come on and deliver you guys some more tea. We promise that if we hear some tea, we will come back and report it live to you. And so this is your first Purple Pants podcast cruise update. Let us know in the comments, DM us, message us, share this, and yeah, let us know if you see some tea. Let us know, and Gia and I will report on it. Gia, thank you so much for jumping right on aboard with me and covering this. Before we go, where can people follow you? What you got cooking up, so we can show our girl Gia some love.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad we got to do part 2, or our first update from our initial newscast, I want to say. So I'm so excited to see where things go in there, because again, this is only 1 week from our very first coverage of the story. So I think this means we're in for a very wild. I think we're at 8 months now. We're only
We
in the
are
first month now, so I think
correct.
this is going to be a very exciting 8 months of our lives. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Classically Gia for all of my reality TV shenanigans. For the Survivor fans out there, definitely follow the Survivor Diversity campaign on Twitter at Serve Diversity. And finally, we'll have some projects coming out during the month of February, both in celebration of Black History Month and Black Survivor History, as well as our the premiere of Survivor 46. So stay tuned when I have more information about that.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, listen, this has been your Purple Pants Podcast World Cruise Update. We'll be back whenever some more tea is happening. See you guys later. It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You're trying to get your snack. You better hurry right back, though. It's the Purple Pants. It's the Purple Pants.